Hey, hi, hello, good evening. Welcome to the middle of the week. Congrats for making it this far. The holidays are almost upon us. Bet you're excited, as am I. And I also happen to be excited because we're going to continue our run through the Builders Cup here tonight in Forza Motorsport. Hello, hello. Hey. Hi, Fonty Flock. Hello, Molecular Shadow Fox. It's good to see you folks. So yeah, today was like a pretty busy day at work, so it's especially nice to be able to kick back and relax.
The term supercar was coined for the rarest automotive species, prestigious exotics, built in limited production runs by manufacturers with legendary racing pedigrees. Their sole purpose was to realize the pinnacle of extreme speed.
Stick your feet up and do your thing. Yeah, exactly.
Then piloted by drivers who understand that a car with this wilder potential can never be tamed, only respected.
Talking about cars like they're wild beasts or something. You all set for Christmas? Oh yeah, I'm so ready. I think I got all my presents in. I got like the stuff I need to wrap them, and yeah, I'm ready to go. And man, I was all ready to go in here, but looks like I am sorely lacking in money to actually jump into this cup, so I think what we'll do is like do this in reverse order. We'll start in C-Class and then maybe work our way backwards. I have a bunch of C-Class cars, so this shouldn't be as bad. And hopefully we'll get enough money to buy our way into like the classic supercars cup and go through that. So I'm guessing all these final tours here are gonna have a much more broad speech going on about, you know, being the best of the best with all these crossovers going on here. The recession is biting deep. Yeah, kind of is. I did see a couple articles saying that, yeah, buying stuff kind of doesn't feel great anymore. It's like, yeah, it kind of doesn't. All right, this buttload of C cars I have here. Amongst the 3 eligible, which one should I get? How's about I pick up the Ford, since that one's like highest on the list. Although, I imagine I'll probably hit the ceiling much sooner. Yeah, I'm getting the Ford. Of course, there's a limit, but that's fine. If I get desperate, I can sell some vintage auto memorabilia. Yeah. That's what it comes down to, right? Although that doesn't feel great either. Unless there is something you realize that maybe you're willing to part with. Because I don't think I've asked yet. Are you all set for Christmas, everyone? Got like 5 days left, maybe 4, depending on how things are going. Hopefully you got like most of the things squared away, and if you do have any tasks remaining, they're not so hard to wrap up here. Alright. Yep, worn my fingers to the bone wrapping stuff. Oh yeah. That's the fun part. Especially when you get like some good wrapping paper and some good tags and like a couple of good bows or maybe ribbons as well. You get that present wrapped up all nice. It's real nice. Alright. So each of like the final 4 tours are 4 races each, so I'm hoping that they'll like go by a little bit more quickly. Like, you remember, like, every tour before the last one, the tours are like 5 or 6 races long, and towards the end, they tend to get, like, extra long as well. So hopefully this one ends up being shorter. Oh, geez. Aw, man. Aw, geez, aw, man. So it'd be pretty neat to be able to kind of knock out the last 3 next week. And you know what? If I end up like not having enough money still to go through the supercars, maybe I'll just do like B-class tour instead. I'll do supercars next week. That's what you gotta be able to do. You gotta be able to think on the fly. Thankfully, I was gonna like do 2 tours tonight anyway, so. If I didn't get enough money to buy a car for that other one, I got like 4 backups. It's pretty cool. I'm sure we've all had to improvise at one point or another. Of course, it comes down to like varying degrees of success, I imagine. There are some points where you know, you might not have a plan ready, but you just gotta like think of something, even if it is just like, all right, we'll skip this step and think of something later. Always have a plan B, exactly. Just gotta be ready for this stuff. Also, I noticed they only have us doing like 2 practice laps. Then again, 1 lap is already minute 40, so I guess it makes sense. The OCD in me likes to have things planned out for every eventuality. That's a good mindset to have. It's good to be prepared. Because you never know if things are gonna suddenly go in another direction. You just gotta be ready for that kind of stuff. I know for the most part I'm not like the type of person who's good at thinking on the fly too much, so I at least try to have a general idea of what I want to do if you know, things go another way. Of course, it's when like things go none of the ways I think it'll go. It's where I start panicking. It's like, okay, what can I do now? And I gotta just like think real quick. All right, what are the pros and cons? What are the consequences for doing what I'm about to do? And then I just have to decide whether it's worth it or not. But most of the time I just end up with like decision paralysis. Anyways, that was like a pretty quick practice. Let's see what they project for us. Okay, so they're feeling pretty confident. We'll start 21st place. Here in New Hampshire. Oh yeah, the rolling start. I can't imagine they do rolling starts like this in real life. Or maybe they do. I don't know. I guess I'm just spoiled by Daytona USA rolling starts where it's just like real fast and real smooth. This one just feels more like a kind of a slow traffic moving. It's like slow traffic jam. Just inching forward, minute by minute, just hoping that eventually you'll exit the jam and be able to resume your normal speed. Daytona! Yeah. Yep, that's the one. Gotta go away. Let's go away. Oh, notice I'm only doing 3 laps. Well, it is the first race. They might up the stakes later on. This one eased me into it. This is why it's a C-class race. Always got distracted by the huge signboard they had with the slot machine on it. Yeah. Back when structures were a lot more fantastical. Sure, it might not be like road accurate, but at least stylistically, it reminded you of various things, right? Look at that. Already sitting pretty well here. First lap in, and we've taken pole position. Penny slots in the arcade waiting for the pool table to be free. I'll be honest, the only time I would ever play slots is if it was like a video game thing. I don't know if I'd have like the fortitude to sit at like a real life slot machine for a very long time, waiting for that microscopic chance that I might hit it big. Despite all the glitz and glamour they try to put into it. Not to mention, you know, the whole penny thing is probably like super deceptive. Sure, it's only a penny, but imagine spinning those slots like couple hundred, couple thousand times. So even then, it's like a lot of money. You can bet like the payout isn't going to be that big either, even if you do win. Pool though, I think back when I was like still in college, I did go out with like a couple of friends, and they had like a kind of like a local bar that they frequented, and pool was one of the attractions there. Of course, we really weren't there to play pool. It was more like to socialize, and pool was just an excuse for everyone to get together. If it wasn't everyone, you know, falling down drunk, it was to play pool and kind of shoot the breeze, as well as, you know, the cue ball. Never really been one for gambling. I feel like I'm not too much into gambling either. Or at least, you know, if not gambling when it's like real money at stake. I don't know. I kind of like taking the house always wins to heart. Even if they try to give you the illusion that you're at an advantage. I don't want to be like one of those super unlucky ones that just ends up losing everything in the hopes that I will win it big. I much prefer, like, you know, a steady rise, just slowly build up my money over time through reliable means rather than, you know, throwing it and flipping a coin and hoping for the best, metaphorically. Pool in the pub is always fun. If not that, then darts. Oh yeah, I forgot about darts, although you have to be real careful with darts. Always have to make sure that everyone's clear to the area. It's either that or just like have that dartboard that's with the safe darts that aren't like, you know, really sharp points. Oh man, 9,000 credits. So I can modify this up to 500. I wonder if they'll keep me at 500 or I'll have to like unequip or change up some parts if they do put me over 500. We will see. We will see. We're off to Virginia. We went south, started New Hampshire, and now we're in Virginia.
Experiment with braking deeper and deeper into the corners to create opportunities to overtake and lower your lap times. Get after it.
Thanks for the advice. Oh, off track ×2. No penalty. Alright. I'll take it. This is another 2 laps worth of practice. Oh, so I didn't brake in time there. I thought I was gonna just like sail right over the turn and right into the grass. That would have been not cool. Although it's nothing a rewind could fix up. Look at that, I entered the grass there. And here. That's to make up for not entering the grass earlier. The universe pays its dues. Looks like you really had to throw those anchors out a mile before the turns. It does feel like that. You see like the brake line, the brake indicator come up like really far out there. Alright, one more. One more and we will get into the race itself. Ooh. You're done with work until the 8th of January. Nice! Ah, I love a good extended winter break. It's like all the times back in college, you know, when you're done with the finals, and you're like, woo! And you get to just like spend a few days doing whatever until you return home to kind of spend time with your friends and family. Or even like back in grade school when, you know, you had like the Christmas to New Year's break. It was like 2 to 3 weeks of just doing, you know, whatever you wanted. That was always fun. Yeah, long break to catch up on gaming. It's always nice when the start of the break happens and you're like, oh man, I got so much time ahead of me, time to do everything I want to do. And just like, you know, let's live it up. I certainly remember those. They're good times. I wonder where they'll recommend I start here. Okay, a little less confident. Alright, we'll start at, here, the 19th. Probably need a few days to recover from the Christmas party on Saturday. I certainly can see that. Lots of food, lots of socializing. You have to recharge in multiple ways there. Man, it's a bit of a bummer that Christmas kind of fell on a Monday this year. It's like, imagine most people will be able to spend time with, you know, their folks a few days before, but, you know, depending on if they took some days off or not, they might have to, like, go back to work, like, right after Christmas Day. Just like, I don't know. I would need at least a day after to kind of, you know, get back on track. Free bar and some food. Yeah. Sounds like a good time at Christmas there. Jeez, that other person was really tussling with me. Alright, we'll try that again. Always a brawl breaks out at these work parties? Oh man. What kind of parties are they? Or is it because, like, everyone's so fallen down drunk? I don't know. One too many and the truth comes out and all that. Oh yeah. I think I've heard some people say alcohol is like the great uninhibitor. It's the kind of thing that will really kind of loosen your lips and, you know, take out your, remove your restraints and, you know, depending on, you know, what you might be up to, that might not be in your best interest. It really does. I lose all my shyness. I imagine that's why some people do that then, huh? But hey, as long as you're cool with it and you're not going overboard, then have fun, right? Life is short, might as well enjoy it while it lasts. Moderation, indeed. That's usually what you need. You know, if society doesn't do you in, then, you know, maybe the effects of too much alcohol will. Hangovers aren't worth it. I've definitely heard that from my friends. Especially the ones who are like much more heavy drinkers. They would always tell about how they had the worst headaches the day after. And even, like, you know, the usual hangover cures would only mitigate that kind of pain and wouldn't eliminate it entirely. What's everyone's, like, go-to hangover cure? I've heard water does alright. I've heard some people also recommend, like, egg yolk drinks in some way or another. Headache, mouth like the bottom of a bird cage. Best cure is a nice full English fry-up. Yeah, I guess some food would also do you some good. I'm almost certain people would recommend that because it absorbs... it absorbs something. I don't remember the full of it, but... full stomach is recommended. Learned my lesson not to go out boozing on an empty stomach. Again, I remember hearing like a scientific explanation for that, and it does have to do with like food kind of helping the alcohol like helps process the alcohol better or something like that. Yeah, it soaks it up. Yep. That's what it was. Not to mention, you know, people are always talking about how particular types of alcohol pair well with certain dishes, right? If you're eating like a steak or something like that, you'll want these particular wines, or maybe if you're enjoying like a nice bowl of pasta, maybe you'll want these drinks instead. I also like how they use the word pairs. It's like, yes, these complement together super well. So well. Yeah, I'm not even gonna rewind that. We're just... Screw it, we ball. There we go. That's another one down.
Nice work out there. We finished P1.
Halfway through. I'm a little shocked, to be honest. See that in the supermarket all the time. Why not try this Chardonnay with your steak? Yeah. I have to admit, when some of the supermarkets I go to, they still have like those holders where you could like grab a recipe from a stack, and sometimes they will have a suggestion like that where, oh yeah, why don't you pair this particular alcohol with this dish here. Then there's the whole dessert wine thing. I forgot about that. Dessert wine when just having alcohol isn't enough. You need to justify having even more alcohol. Dessert wines. There you go. I mean, I get it. I imagine there are certain ones that just taste better after having a meal and not during a meal, but still. It's the way they put it. I'm expecting something like, you know, orange sherbet and peanut butter ripple wines and, like, you know, cotton candy or, like, you know, frozen Snickers wine or something like that. That's just me. That's just me. They make it sound so pretentious. Yeah. Something about wine that just like brings out the snobs in people. It's especially funny because I do read like some stories online of like, you know, people and customers and stuff, and yeah, you get to the ones where like the ones that like take place in wineries and stuff, and you'll see people like ask for things and not quite get the terminology right, and you'll see the workers try to kind of gently correct them, like, oh wait, did you mean this? And the customer goes, no, you clearly don't know what you're talking about, I meant this. And it's like, alright, sure, whatever you say. It's always funny to see. I think similarly, there's like a bunch of stories about people in coffee shops where they'll like ask for some kind of drink, and then other people will go, so did you mean maybe this other drink? Is like, no, I clearly meant this drink. You don't know what you're talking about. Coffee. Always that one person at dinner parties. gets their nose in the glass and swirling it and all that. Then they go into detail about the flavors. Yeah, right? Ugh. Make it look like there's some sort of, yeah, masterful connoisseur. I went to a wine tasting course, you know. I like bore off. Yeah, they do like the one thing and then they're suddenly an expert. It's like Frank West in Dead Rising. I've covered wars, you know. I mean, to his credit, he is like a pretty good photographer, I guess. And a zombie outbreak is something of an unprecedented situation, so maybe it's not that similar in retrospect. So when it came to work today, I did say it was like extra busy. It's like partially because I had to kind of help a lot of other people out, but they did manage to make up for it because they said they would be like treating us to food next time we meet up in person, so that's something to look forward to at least. It's always nice when, you know, they recognize that, hey, we're kind of asking a lot more from you here, so we'll at least try to compensate you for it for one way or another. Don't know when they'll do it though, because, you know, this week is Christmas week and next week is New Year's week. People probably won't be around for too much, so probably have to wait till like the new year to get the kind of get together meal. Nice to get treated like that. I know, right? It does feel nice like that. This is like one of the things I do miss about working in person sometimes, is just having like the catered lunches or like the leftover lunches. That was always a fun time. Like lunch break comes around, you go into the break room and you see, oh hey, there's some extra food here, leftover catering from when they had that meeting earlier, and like, all right, some food to have now, and then maybe if the day ends and it's still there, just grab some for the road, right? Hey, this is going to be a penalty, isn't it? Oh, yes.
Total time penalty is about a second.
We eat good today. Yeah, right? Especially nice if they're like sandwiches or something like that. Sandwiches are kind of easy to store and eat the next day or so. Don't want to leave them around for too long, of course, but can at least save them for a little bit. Buffet food is always a welcome sight. I know, right? When you see like the usual kind of catering trays, and you got like the pasta and the rice Yeah, the cocktail sausages and chicken legs. And then maybe if you're really lucky, they'll have dessert too. Maybe something like cake or ice cream, or maybe even like cannolis if they're being extra fancy. It's not a buffet without sausage rolls. Always gotta have that one fallback food for someone who might be a little bit more picky about what they eat. That'd be pretty funny though, just have like a whole giant tub of like chicken nuggets or something like that. I'm sure there would be people who would be excited for that though. Actually, that'd be pretty hilarious, especially if they, like, you know, put out multiple tubs of sauces for you to choose from. So, you know, it's not just, like, ketchup, but if you want to, like, say, honey mustard or barbecue or ranch or sweet and sour, that might not actually be a bad thing to have. Yeah, I'm going on the Mackey's run. What do y'all want? That was another thing we had at the office too. You had like the one person that's like, "All right, I'm gonna be hitting up a restaurant. Does anyone want anything from there?" And maybe you'll get like a handful of people who might go, "Hey, yeah, get me a few things from here." Or, you know, sometimes it's just like a designated day and then someone does that. Just go on a run. I feel like I saw that a few times when I worked at like a fast food restaurant. You'll get like that one person coming in with that piece of paper and then they start like naming things off a list and you just have to, you know, prepare them as you go. That's when it's like all hands on deck. Everyone get to their stations and start prepping that food. Just go, go, go. Do your thing. Let everyone else do their thing, right? Yep, we get that in our office with coffee and snacks. Oh, yeah. Coffee would be the thing where you would have one person run out and, like, get a group's order. It was like, usually the office junior, yeah, or the intern. Give them something to do, right? Internships were always a fun time at the one job I used to work at. Because, you know, having like an extra set of hands to kind of do help you with things helps ease the burden a little bit. But on the other hand, you do have to kind of teach them the ropes, so that's a little bit of time you have to take out to kind of get them up to speed. And of course, you're not going to have them forever, because, you know, it's a temporary thing. They'll eventually have to leave and go back to their classes and what have you. But till then, if you get like the good interns and they know what they're doing and they're fun to have around, then it's a good time. Oh man, the Nürburgring. We're doing 3 laps there. Yeah, I'm assuming they're keeping us at 499 because they can't add any more parts without it going over 500. Yeah, it's also a good opportunity to weed out the bad habits before they start. I guess that's like the bright side of it. If the intern turns out to like maybe not be the best fit, oh, you're only gonna have to put up with them for a few months, right? Oh yeah, buckle up. This will be a longer one. Yeah, every place has those that do as little as possible. I definitely feel that. You have to end up picking up their slack. It's either that or eventually they'll do themselves in. Eventually their house of cards comes crashing down on them. That doesn't always happen though. Give them enough rope, I know, right? Eventually they'll trip themselves. The one other aspect of offices I do kind of miss as well. You always have like that one person that has like the communal kind of like treat bucket or treat bowl where they'll have like a bunch of candy or chocolates kind of laying out. You know, you can feel free to take one as you pass by them. It's always nice to have. Although you always have the mind to like at least try to treat them back, like maybe give them like a bag as candy as thanks or something like that, right? Can't just take. It's got to be an exchange. Tub of gummy sweets or chocolates, just grab a load as you pass. Yeah, something like that. Or when you have like one of the people come in with like a fundraiser, it's like, oh yeah, my kid is fundraising sandwiches for, you know, a thing. You know, anyone want to buy some? That's always a fun time too. I always like getting a pretzel roast beef sandwich because they're delicious, and I don't mind helping to support a kid with their fundraiser every now and then. It's like either that or like sweet treats around the Christmas time. It's like, hey, you want to buy some chocolate or some peanut brittle or like caramel popcorn, things like that. You know, of all like the things I see during Christmas, the triple popcorn bucket has to be the most interesting one of them. Like, I'm not sure how it came to be that during Christmas time you'll see like those large tins that have like butter popcorn, cheese popcorn, and caramel popcorn and sectioned off. But it's a thing. Anytime I go to a store, there will usually be like a display where you see like the tins with the 3 varieties of popcorn there. Muffins are always a firm fave to snack on as you're at your desk. Any sort of handheld food works. But yeah, muffins is a pretty good one. What's your favorite kind of muffin? I think I would have to go with like banana nut. I don't know. It's like something about bananas in a muffin is pretty good. Something about nuts in a muffin is like pretty good as well. Put them together, you get like a good combo of stuff. After that, I'd probably go with like blueberry. It's like the old reliable of muffins. Those are tasty. Lemon and poppy seed. Love triple berry too. Ooh, triple berry. Well, that works out too, yeah. So I'm guessing, yeah, blueberry is probably one of them. If I had to hazard a guess, cranberry would be another one, and I don't know. There's like a couple other berries I could think of that could be like a third berry. Like maybe raspberry or blackberry or even strawberry, perhaps? I've seen strawberry muffins. Oh, right. Speaking of which, I got hooked on the strawberry ones when I lived in the US. I had to admit, I kind of like have a weakness for strawberry-flavored anything. Again, strawberries are like one of my favorite fruits to have. I'll even eat them just like, you know, just by itself. I like them that much. They have that like right amount of sweet and tartness to them. And when you get the ones that are like especially juicy, that's when it hits right. Nothing quite like a good juicy strawberry to bite into. Yeah, and it's one of the best things ever to go with ice cream. Indeed, it makes for a fantastic fruit topping. Just pair that with like bananas and chocolate syrup. Got yourself a classic sundae. Ooh, and add some crushed peanuts on top of that as well. And maybe sprinkles if you don't think it's sweet enough. One of my favorite desserts to do is just like get like peanut butter ripple ice cream and then put some strawberry preserves on top of it. And it's kind of like a peanut butter and jelly ice cream. It's kind of funny when you think about it on the surface, but hey, it's kind of like, you know, just two desserts. You just combine them together, and there's a reason why they go well in the sandwich. It probably serves the reason that they go pretty well as a dessert as well, right? Was quite surprised the first time I had chocolate-covered strawberries. Ooh. Yeah, chocolate-covered fruits is another popular thing. And works out pretty well. Can certainly see the appeal. I remember the first time I had a chocolate-covered banana. I think it was like a frozen banana as well, so you got like kind of like that double dose of sweetness and crunch to it. It was pretty good. You know what I have like not encountered yet? One of those like chocolate fountains. You might have seen them like around either in the movie or in real life. You just have like the gigantic fountain that's just like chocolate pouring, kind of falling down continuously. You know, you just like stick whatever you want in there and then enjoy your chocolate covered fruit. I've never done one of those myself. Seems like it would be a fun thing to do once. It's like, oh yeah, I will take this strawberry here and stick it in the chocolate waterfall and enjoy my chocolate covered strawberry. Like fondue, but chocolate, right? I forgot. Yeah. Fondue. I don't think I've done one of those either. Just like dip my food into cheese and then have it that way. Then again, there are a lot of things that kind of go well with cheese. Looks like it's ad time, so I will patiently wait until I get the signal that it ends. Yeah, it's one of the things I set up because I already have like SariBot watching over my channel because people recommended it highly for, you know, taking care of bots and stuff. Depends on the cheese. Yeah, that is true. Lots of types of cheeses out there. Some go well with certain foods. Others might not go well with most foods. Alright, I'm gonna take that one again. There we go, that went better. I don't know. I hope like the timing is like working out well for indicating when ads are coming up. Sunday roast is just the best with cheese sauce. I bet it is. That's one of the things I would enjoy doing once, just like getting a whole ladle of cheese and then pouring it all over whatever foods I want to eat it with. It's like gravy, but it's cheese. I usually make my own, not keen on the packet stuff. Yeah, that's understandable. Like, I see, like, a similar sentiment with, macaroni and cheese. Or crafted dinner, depending on, where you are. That's like, yeah, that stuff is fine in a pinch, but, you know. It ain't mac and cheese unless you get, like, you know, some proper cheese and melt it and mix it up with milk and then add the noodles to that. Or maybe you could like turn it into a casserole if you want. Just have a whole mac and cheese casserole. It's only 3 ingredients. If I can do it, anyone can. Indeed. Indeed. I guess the challenge there will be getting the proportions right. You don't want that cheese to become too runny, but you don't want it to become, like, too clumpy either. Getting that right mixture probably... either, you know, you get a recipe online or you just experiment. And even then, if you follow the instructions online, maybe things might be off one way or another, so at that point you just, you know, take that as a learning experience and then adjust your own recipe to make it the way you want it. And it's always the fun thing about cooking. If a recipe's not to your liking, you can always switch things up so that it can be to your liking. Although you still have to be aware of the way, like, you know, certain ingredients kind of work together. Lest you end up with something much more unappetizing. I boil the milk, add grated cheese, and then some corn flour to thicken it up. That's a thing I've learned a lot about cooking, is that flour is like a pretty good thickener. Yeah, stick it in the gravy boat and pour it all over my roasting vegetables. Now it sounds like a good time for cheese sauce. Man, now I'm gonna look up a cheese sauce recipe myself and see if I can, like, make a meal with that and then try that out. Might be fun to do, at least once. I have a slow cooker too. I wonder if I can maybe look up like a cheese sauce slow cooker recipe. That might be fun to do. Might make like for a pretty good dip if I get like tortilla chips. Grew up with that stuff. My nan cooked a lot of comfort foods. That's always nice to have. That one food that you can eat and it just makes everything better. Makes you feel better. I'm not quite sure what that would be for me. I think it might actually be just like ramen. Get me some ramen noodles. Ramen noodle and like a fried egg to go with it. And it's a pretty quick, easy food, nice and simple, and you know, it's plenty flavorful for what it is. Those winter warmer meals, oh yeah. Something to keep you warm during the winter months.
Great race. We finished P1.
Man, just like that, we are finished with a C-Class tour here. That was shockingly quick. Then again, it was only 4 races. So even if you do like all the longest ones, you can't really stretch that out that far. Alright, let's see if we have enough credits to buy our way into the exotic speed tour here. This will probably be where like the majority of our stream will take place. We've already seen this, we'll skip that. Oh yeah, look at that, 143,000. So we can actually afford all the cars now. What a jump! In one tour, we went from being able to afford none of these cars to being able to afford any of these cars. I might just like go with the Lamborghini because I already got a bunch of Lambos in the garage. We're gonna get that. The Countach. I mean, just look at that sleek design. How could you not want this beauty of a car? Oh, there's a limit to this. Pretty low limit, we're already approaching it. Scoose is a good one to have. Lamb chunks, carrots, and potatoes, slow cooked till tender. You can add some corn flour to thicken the juices up a bit. Every bedroom had that car on a poster. I have to keep that recipe in mind, and yeah, I can see why. I can see this being on posters. It's just like a cool looking car. It's the kind of car like, oh yeah, I would totally drive that. Look at that. It's like, it's cool, angular, the low angle, it's sleek, it's got that futuristic look. Well, futuristic for like the 80s, but you know, you get the idea. This is like the kind of car a protagonist would be driving. Because it's a rad car, right? This is like what the cyber investigator would be driving down while they're heading to the site to investigate cyber crimes. Never saw anything like that before. It was a game changer. I bet it was. I got ahead of him. I know it's practice, but yeah, gotta T-pose on them metaphorically early on. Straight out of a synthwave album. I know, right? This is like the kind of thing you would see on a neon-drenched background. Probably like a, you know, a work like set in Florida, somewhere, anywhere. Most likely Miami. Imagine just like driving while you're seeing palm trees pass by on both sides of you, while Harry Faltermeyer is just playing on the radio. Was it Harold Faltermeyer? But anyway, you know, just everything that reminds you of the 80s all condensed into one moment. AKA the waterfront of Vice City. Yeah. What is it about, like, Miami and the 80s that seems so linked together? I guess it's because, like, the 80s was kind of like a free-wheeling and dealing kind of time. And, you know, when you think of beachside, you also think about, like, you know, wild things happening because, hey, it's the beach. It's where where you can just, like, go completely loose because, hey, swimsuits and swimming and parties and everything, and it all just comes together. Miami Vice and all that, yeah. Yeah. The decade to get greedy and make as much money as you can as fast as you can. Oh yeah, there's that too. Yeah, I imagine, like, you know, beachside properties are prime real estate for that, because everyone wants to be at the beach because that's where all the parties are, so that's where all the money is going to be, and, you know, the cycle continues until it can't anymore. Bright fashions, big hair, slim models, shoulder pads, yeah. Throwing some sunglasses, maybe short sleeves, leg warmers, yeah. Tight pants. That was always, like, one of the things that amused me. You, like, see someone in, like, an exercise getup and also leg warmers. Like, it's a funny combo of things to have. Imagine, amusingly enough, it would totally not look out of place in anime. Like, if they introduced an anime character that had, like, a full-on bodysuit and also leg warmers, I probably wouldn't bat an eye at it. Blame Flashdance in films like that. Oh, yeah. The popular film will always get people kind of wanting to imitate its style. Oop. Well, this is only a practice round. I'll take that. I did everything else they wanted me to do. I'll get my 3 laps. I'll hit the target time. What's like 0.8 seconds. Here we go. I remember learning about, like, the Flashdance song all the way back in middle school. I forget what the context was in which we learned about it, but they had it. Oh wow, they're really feeling confident. They have their faith in me. Let's prove that their faith is not misplaced. They had that, and I was rocking heavy metal band t-shirts. I guess I was like the other end of it, just the 80s edge. Fire and skulls and you know, the horns. Or am I thinking of like another decade for that? I'm not quite sure. This is gonna be a 5-lapper. So if anything, this tour will probably be the one that takes a bit to complete. We're already starting with like a 5-lap race here. Granted, last tour in last series in this tour here, but still. I think people will always love the 80s. People will always love things that are far in the past. You know, because, you know, it's far enough that people will remember all the good things about it. I mean, I got like people my age talking about how much they missed the 90s. Especially in terms of video gaming. You hear it a lot, right? Like 1996, oh man, that was like the best year for video games ever. You know, you look back on it, and it's like, yeah, you know, a lot of good games did come out then. But it does feel like people just cling to it a bit too hard sometimes. Because, you know, a bunch of good games came out after 96. And there were good games before 96 as well. That's not to, you know, diminish what 96 did for gaming, but I don't know. I guess I just look at it differently. Because, well, I do regard games like Ocarina of Time as great. When it comes to, like, top favorites, my list usually includes things like Ratchet and Clank and Burnout and, you know, Sly Cooper. It's like a eclectic mix of stuff. I don't have, like, any specific 2 or 3 genres that I like. It's like a little bit of everything. From RPGs to FPSs to platformers to deep games to simple games. I kind of enjoy a lot of things. The year I got my first PlayStation 1, back when they were like £500. Oh man. That's always something funny to note. When you get the latest console out and it breaks your bank, and then you like come back to it a couple years later, and of course it's been a while, so they've discounted the system quite a bit, and it's a lot cheaper than it used to be. Like I remember when I was looking at like Xbox Series X's, and they were like around $500, and nowadays you can get one for maybe $300. A little over 300 if you look around enough. Of course, it's just like a passage of time thing, but it's always funny to see. Alright, you come to it like many years later, when those sorts of consoles maybe break double digits at best. Right, you come in, you're looking at like an old Xbox 360 or something like that, and it's like, yeah, okay, well, I'll give it to you for $80 or something like that. I'm like, whoa! Remember when they were at triple digits? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Can pay big money for retro and more obscure consoles. Oh, absolutely. Retro stores love that kind of stuff. Yeah, especially if you give them something like a TurboGrafx or like a Sega Saturn or something like that, right? or a Sega CD, or a 32X, or you can think of a few of them. Those are the kinds of consoles that only like the most diehard of collectors will be seeking out. What was like everyone's first console? I think mine would have to be the Sega Genesis. I remember playing Sonic the Hedgehog 2, like way back in the day, and was like super enamored by it because, oh man, it's like this super high-speed platformer. Whoa, it's going so fast, and this hedgehog fella is so rad. I remember trying days upon days to try to beat that game, and never quite did it as a kid. And I don't think I've revisited it even to this day. I'm pretty sure if I went back to it, I'd probably be able to wrap that game up, no problem. Especially if they include things like save states, right? That was always the thing that got me, right? I would kind of throw myself at the final stage like a million times until I use up all my lives and all my continues. It's like, well, GG, but that's it. You're done. Go back to square one. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Yeah, Atari Jaguar 3DO. Ah, your first console is a Mega Drive. The OG Mega Drive, not that ugly version 2. I remember they had two versions of it. They had like that big bulky one, and they had the slimmer looking one. Yeah, I remember when those were state of the art. I think my older brother later picked up like a Sega Saturn, and I played Sonic 3D Blast on that. I remember being like really enamored with that as a kid too. Looking back, I can't imagine why, because I don't know if that would have been able to hold me, because you know it doesn't really like do the things you would expect a Sonic game to do, even for Sonic, right? Oh, I guess I did play Knights on that as well. That was a lot more fun, even if I never got past the first boss because I couldn't figure out how to defeat it. I'm sure if I did it now, I could probably hand it its butt, but yeah. By the time you had the CD and the 32X, it looked like such an abomination, and the massive cables. I remember that being something of a running joke. If you added like every add-on to a Genesis, it would look like a kind of like a monster of a system. That's like when the DS came out and people were making jokes about, oh yeah, in addition to like a second screen, well, you got like an extra screen for like a health bar on your inventory display and a rear view mirror and so on and so forth. Unfortunately, I never remembered to like actually save that image, but I remember it in my head. I wish I could find that image again because younger me really liked that picture. Oh man, speaking of old pictures, I keep on getting emails from Photo Bucket that are like, hey, your account's gonna be marked as inactive. And I keep wondering why they send me those emails, because I kind of cleaned out those accounts long ago, right? I took all the pictures that I used to host there off of them. They're like, yeah, you know, just do whatever you want. I'm not coming back here anymore. You know, Photo Bucket's entire mission kind of changed somewhere along the way. I didn't quite notice. Same here. I get a lot of those, yeah. They keep on sending it to me. It's like, after a certain point, you think, all right, we'll delete it now. You clearly are not responding to our stuff, so we'll just assume you don't want it anymore. I'm like, yeah, I don't. I kind of took everything I want off of it. But yeah, I remember when PhotoBucket really was just like a free image hosting site, because I'll use that a lot. Because I did forums a lot back in the day, and you know, you needed to put those images somewhere, so you would upload them to PhotoBucket, and then you could stick the image on your message board post and give everyone like a good laugh at that. It's where you would save like the funniest memes and stuff, or like the cool art, or like any screenshots you might have found, or photos you wanted to share. Yeah. But yeah, they changed sometime along the way. They like severely restricted the amount of photos you could upload at once, and if you wanted more storage space, you would obviously have to go for a paid plan. It's like, well, it was fun while it lasted. Yeah, the image code for your form signature and stuff. Yeah, when the images would have like different fields. So like, okay, if you want to just put in the HTML code on the website, use this. If you want to stick it on the forum, you'd use the one with the tags. And if you just want to have a raw link to your picture, here it is. Pick this one. I remember that. I'm sure these days those will be like changed for post to Facebook, post to Twitter, post to Instagram, post to etc. But yeah, I guess at least we still have like other sites trying to carry the image hosting flag in a way, right? It's like, no, might not be PhotoBucket any longer, but I guess you could also just go to ImageUR. That's like what people seem to go to if they want to host images for posting elsewhere. They do have a paid plan too, but you know, uploading images is easy enough. You don't have to go for an account or a paid plan if you don't want to. I'm sure that will change as well. Given enough time, ImageUR will have to start clamping down on things like that. And so the cycle will continue, because then a new image hosting site will pop up, offering all the stuff that PhotoBucket and ImageUR used to. That's like the trend I've noticed with the online services. They start off like pretty rad and stuff, right? Pretty user-friendly in multiple ways, but over time they'll usually lose a lot of that user-friendliness, whether it be in like the name of sponsors or because business and profits and stuff. But eventually people will flock away from it, especially once like the new hotness shows up. Ends up showing up that old service in some way or another. Everyone will come to that. It's ad time again. I'll wait a bit. I'll wait for Seribot to give me the all clear. Oh yeah, we're doing practice. We're still doing practice. Well, it's only 2 laps of practice, although each lap being 3 minutes. Oh man, I would assume this track will be like 5 laps or something like that, because they seem to want to really stretch this out. Nice that you can select to delete it after a bit if you're sharing a link in a chat or something. Ooh, that is nice. It's like the kind of thing where, yeah, you want to show it to like just a select group of people, but you don't want that to kind of, you know, get out there into the greater world. So it's like, alright, you let them see the picture for a bit, and then you just poof it. Pretend like it never happened. Was having a chat about old search engines the other day. Oh man, talking about old sites like Ask Jeeves and Yahoo. I remember that commercial. It's like, do you Yahoo? And then you hear the voice go, Yahoo! Remember when Google really did just kind of do the whole search optimization thing? Now it seems like a lot more, or at least people have figured out the algorithm and kind of game the system that way, right? You got like actually experts out there talking about search engine optimization, so you gotta have like these particular things in your site if you want it to rise up in the list. Yeah, Lycos, Dogpile, InfoSeek. Oh man, I'm trying to remember what the site was, but I remember someone telling me about another search engine that was, it was like Google before, you know, Google became bad, or something like that. I think it was because it was like an aggregate search engine that would actually, like, you know, use multiple search engines and then kind of compile the results and give you kind of like a list of results that way. DuckDuckGo! Oh my god, actually, I kind of remember that one. I'm almost certain that was like around the time of the .com bubble, as they put it. When everyone and their dog was like putting up websites. But yeah, Ask Jeeves was always a fun one to have because they encourage you to, you know, phrase your query in the form of a question. And of course, being kids, we'd always do silly things like ask it, like, you know, are you stupid? Or like, what is 1 + 1? Things like that. You know, some kids would find funny because hee hee ha ha. The butt of so many jokes, right? So, yeah, having the appearance of a prim and proper butler would also lead to basis of a joke being, hey, look, it's a prim and proper guy being a lot more crass than usual. Ain't that riot? Still take that over Bing. Really not a fan of that. Understandable. I'd admit the biggest reason I use Bing for anything is because of the rewards points. You do all the stuff around it and usually get yourself a nice stack of them. Usually enough that you can like get yourself a decent enough Xbox gift card every year. Works pretty well. Or you could like convert it into a Game Pass subscription, or you know, if you don't care about any of that, you can also trade that in for like Amazon gift cards or something like that too. Only the one search engine for me. Yeah, if I'm not like doing Bing rewards, I probably just go to Google. I know it's been like gamed to heck and all that, but most of the time it still gets me the results I usually want. Yeah, I feel like, apart from Google these days, or Bing, I suppose, don't hear too much about search engines. I'm sure others do exist, but I guess the ubiquity of Google just means that the others kind of have a long climb ahead of them if they want to even come close to kind of matching what Google offers. Come a long way when now you don't even have to type in the full word. Oh yeah, remember when you had to like type in the various query like in the search box itself? You couldn't just like go to advanced search and you know, include these words, include all of these words, and exclude these words. You had to go like search for this term and this term, or this term, but not this term. Had to type them out like a logic equation. Fun times. Back in the Wild West days of the internet. Part of me does miss that sometimes. Just miss those times when I would go to a search engine and you know, look for particular fan sites of a certain series and finding them, joining their communities, and having a blast hanging out and talking about the series and anything and everything else on our minds. Spend a lot of time with them. Unfortunately, all those sites have like since shut down. See like remnants of the user base who used to be there in things like Steam groups or Facebook groups or maybe a Discord server here and there, but it just ain't the same, you know? And their images tab has been a great resource for finding furry artwork. Oh man, the image search. I actually started using that a little bit more frequently now. That's like when I see a picture that's like, oh hey, this is pretty cool, I wonder where it's from, so I'll usually just like go do an image search and then I'll find out what exactly the particular character or scene is, and then I can go from there. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. You know, I see like a photo of scenery and be like, oh wow, that looks sweet, but they didn't say where this was. And I'll go look it up, and then sometimes image search can let me know where it is, and that's pretty cool too. Oh, I should have braked earlier. Should have hit the brakes earlier. This is only race 2, right? The fact that we're on race 2 and already doing 4 laps on the track, that takes us like 3 minutes to complete. Can only imagine how much further up they will go from here. Unless this is like more of a hill style and we'll see like the later races take less time to complete. Alright, now's our time. Boom, right on by. Just like that. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. Oh. That's definitely one of the things I noticed about the sim race games. You go off-road and your steering is going to be severely compromised. Oh yeah, it just needs a filter for AI artwork so you can tell what's been done by a person. Oh man, I hate that is a thing that we need to do, but unfortunately, it's something that just needs to be done. The one thing I can at least take solace in knowing is that there's like so much AI artwork out there that all the AI programs are now kind of like feeding off of each other's AI artwork, and the pictures they've been coming up with are like considerably worse as a result. So they kind of like fall into a pit of mediocrity, which is like good. So it'll be even easier to discern what is AI and what isn't. I think that's like on top of someone creating a program specifically meant to fool AI programs. I think they call it like Nightshade or something like that. But yeah, you kind of run an image through that, and it becomes like much easier, much harder for AI to blatantly rip it off. It's honestly like a bit of a shame of the thing, right? We got all these wonderful technologies, and unfortunately, we have the money-hungry jerks who go and take advantage of it in like the worst ways possible. I think recently someone was talking about like some sort of like brainwave scanner that lets you be active, like even during your dreams. And someone was like, "Oh man, what if we get like people to work even while they're asleep?" And everyone's like, "What the heck are you thinking? We're already working like 8 hours a day. You want to work people even harder when they're supposed to be resting?" Like, imagine all the cool stuff you could do with like, you know, a lucid dreams device. You could let people like live out their wildest fantasies, right? I could be like someone who'd be like this really cool mage who casts all the spells that makes people fall down. And these other folks here are like, "Oh man, what if we turn them into 24/7 human resources? Oh yeah, let's go." God damn it. All the people who are just like, "Money! If you are not making money, then you are wasting time." Like, no. No. Let people have their hobbies and their interests and free time. Not everything needs to turn into some sort of profiteering venture. Like, seriously. Oh my god, yeah, you know what, after that then would come the ads in the Dream Machine. Swear to god, like having this nice lovely dream where I'm like, you know, flying through the air, and then suddenly I get like a Sprite bottle just like floating into my view. I'm like, no. If I remember correctly, that was like one of the things they had in Hypnospace Outlaw, or at least it was like something like that. I'm pretty sure they at least briefly touched on people getting ads beamed into their brains. Man, Hypnospace Outlaw. I think that's like one of the games I want to play in the future. Sometime in the future. Because that's a pretty cool game, and it is very quintessentially 90s internet. days of Netscape and AOL. I watched some other people play it. I watched like a couple quick look videos on it, and man, if you know anything about 90s internet, that will probably tickle all your fancies. I need to put that up. I need to put that together at some point. Just like a list of, hey, these are games I want to visit in the future. Just like have that ready so that when I start rolling games over, right, I start beating games and need something else to fill the time slots for streams, I can start a new one. Yeah, I should probably do that soon, especially since, you know, we are in an interim period after Sea of Stars and our Sunday game. And, you know, Forza Motorsport is nearing a conclusion as well, so I'll need something to fill Wednesdays as well. But I'm thinking right now, like after the new year, right, once the new year starts, I do have an idea of when I want to play on Fridays and Sundays. Could do with a retro night. That might not be a bad idea. Just find myself in older game, older indie, and go through that. There are definitely some games that probably fit that mold that I could probably go through. The one series I did want to visit, and perhaps a little ashamed that I'm doing this after its parent company kind of closed up shop, is the Shadow Tactics games made by Mimimi Games. Sadly, decided to kind of move on because you know, what they were doing wasn't quite cutting it for them anymore. It was a bit of a shame because everyone has good things to say about that series, so I want to at least try Shadow Tactics out. I did play the Shadow Gambit demo like a couple months back and really enjoyed it, so I want to start at the start and see what that's all about. It's sounded like a stealth-based isometric RTS style kind of game. It's a very, very niche thing, and Mimimi did a very good job at that. So I do want to give that a go. It's probably something I'll start next year. Back in time with Azure Gale, right? Ooh. One thing I do also want to cover at some point, I know it's because they're coming out with an anniversary edition. Braid! I remember when that first came out on Xbox 360. It was like one of the earliest games back when Xbox had they called it the Live Arcade. That was the brand that was the name they put to their brand for downloadable games. Yeah, Braid was like one of the earliest ones, and I remember being enamored by that because it was, you know, it wasn't like in the vein of other Xbox Live Arcade games that were all about, like, you know, short bursts of arcadey style gameplay. This one was definitely more artistic and plot driven and very stylistically cool. Had that like cool hand drawn style to it, and the music was all nice and ambient, and the time mechanics they introduced in each chapter were cool and unique. And then the twist they had at the end was absolutely brilliant and fed right into the themes of kind of like having to rewinding time. Just worked pretty well. The metaphor, the ultimate metaphor that the entire game was for, maybe a little weirder, but I can accept it all the same because, you know, it was all about the art. But yeah, once Braid Remastered comes out, I'll probably give that a go because I like Braid. Braid is cool. And it'll be nice to come back to it after a very long time. I don't know if they'll like do any changes for it. Because I know there were like certain aspects of the game that you couldn't quite like get anymore if you progressed past a certain point. Of course, it probably wouldn't be too much work to like start a new file, but I wonder if they'll accommodate for that. If they'll make it so that you don't have to start a new file if you want to unlock every secret in Braid. But yeah, you know, like, games had like a pretty deep impact when other games reference it even like years later. Like, you remember The Looker? I remember playing The Looker long ago, and that was a game that came out like many years after Braid, and they still had a reference to Braid. That's how much impact Braid had on some people. I'm guessing it also fits because, what was it? The Witness and Braid were made by the same guy, Jonathan Blow. So I guess it fits that they would have a Braid reference in there, right? Yeah, you know if you made it when you get referenced, yeah. I forget who it was who said it, but it's like, when your song gets parodied by Weird Al, that's when you know you've made it. I remember hearing that like long ago and thinking, yeah, that tracks, right? Your song gets enough of a hit that Weird Al just calls you up and is like, hey, would it be cool if I just like wrote a song that parodies yours? I think it might have been like, actually, one of the guys from Nirvana that said that when Weird Al released Smells Like Nirvana. They were like, yeah, when Weird Al parodies you, you know when you've made it. Yeah, you can't not sing his lyrics when you hear the real song. I know I've done that. You know, someone starts singing like a song during a karaoke stream, and I'll just respond with like the Weird Al lyrics. Right? It's like someone starts singing Avril Lavigne's "Complicated." Well, I'm gonna put in Weird Al's "A Complicated Song" lyrics, or you know, someone sings "Happy." I'll start referencing Tacky, or you know, someone brings up Confessions, I'm gonna bring up Confessions Part 3, or someone brings up American Idiot, I'll bring up Canadian Idiot. Loved his handy. Video was a hoot too. I think that's like the other thing about Weird Al that's also impressive, right? The guy is a pretty great parody artist, but you know, he does pretty well in like original compositions as well. Right, a lot of his original songs are really, really fun romps. Like Albuquerque and Hardware Store, The Night Santa Went Crazy. Fitting we're talking about Night Santa Went Crazy. You're 5 days from Christmas time. Man, what was the last album that came out? I know Weird Al's like pushing 60 now, so imagine, you know, he's getting up there in age. So he doesn't seem to age. Well, there is that. Despite being like almost 60, the guy looks like he still could be like 30. I do remember him saying that he wanted to move away from just like doing full album compositions and just like releasing songs as appropriate. Although I'm guessing they would later get compiled into albums and get released because, well, that's just what you do. Rocking that curly long hair, oh yeah. Man, I remember when he did change his whole style, because like old Weird Al was all about like having that big mop of curly hair on top and the glasses. And then he changed it so he didn't have glasses anymore, and he instead had like long wavy hair, and I was like, whoa. It's a radical change, but it worked, right? It still worked. Yeah, that does remind me, back in college, there's like a tradition in one of the clubs I joined where, each person would like, put out a list of things that they might want in like a little gift basket, and you would just like eventually get that at some point. And I remember putting it in because like I was in college, so I was like super into Weird Al. I mean, I still am, but I was like really into Weird Al back then. And then I remember it was like my turn to get that basket, and of course, and it was a copy of Straight Outta Linwood. It's like the CD version. I'm like, yeah. And the person who gave it to me was like, yeah, you said on the list you liked Weird Al, so I got his latest album for you. I'm like, yes, sweet, awesome, thanks. I forget what else was in that basket, but I always remember the Weird Al album. Yeah, white and nerdy, all about the Pentiums. Again, this guy's been around for a very long time. The guy's probably a testament to his ability that everyone still loves him, even all this time later. And he still manages to put out really fun hits. First song I heard of his was Amish Paradise. Oh, man. I remember the hubbub surrounding that one. That kind of like started his current philosophy, because I remember, yeah, the story was that, he asked, like, before, it wasn't like a hard set rule that he would directly contact the artist, because he wanted to get in contact with Coolio, but he could only get in contact with his record label. And the record label was like, yeah, they signed off on it, but it later came out that Coolio was not cool with the parody, and that kind of became a controversy for a bit. Although they eventually buried the hatchet, but I remember that being kind of the catalyst for Weird Al always just contacting the artist directly, no matter what. Right, he always contacted the artist directly if he wanted to parody their song. Yes, so that they wouldn't have any more misunderstandings like that. An off chance that the artist goes, yeah, I'd rather not. And he'd be like, alright, cool. Yeah, that came in handy. I think there was like the other song he wrote that was like, you're pitiful. And he went and that was like a parody of You're Beautiful, and James Blunt, I think, asked him to not put that on an album, so that piece remains like a performance exclusive, a concert exclusive tune. Was surprised that Michael Jackson okayed him to parody. Yeah, it's kind of funny seeing who signs off on it. Although I remember the one other song that almost didn't happen. Like, this one was also like a big deal. Like, remember, Perform This Away. Weird Al wanted to do that. The story was there that he wanted to ask Lady Gaga, but I guess whoever kind of was handling the the intermediary between, you know, him and Gaga. I was like, yeah, sorry, I don't think this is gonna work out. And it turns out the agent was only interpreting it because I think Gaga eventually got word that Weird Al wanted to parody the song, and then was like, what the hell, I would totally love that, and then like got in touch with Weird Al. Was like, yes, please write a parody of Born This Way, I approve of it. Yeah, that song almost didn't happen, which was a shame because I think that was like the headliner song for that particular album as well. He had the backup ready and everything, but could you imagine an alternate universe where we didn't get performed this way? That would be a much sadder one, for sure. Yeah, another great video. There is that. I think the reason why Weird Al tends to be fondly remembered is that he doesn't really punch below the belt, right? And he does parody something. It tends to be like, you know, one of those like irreverent parodies or just like a lighthearted jab at best. Like, I'd say maybe the one that kind of jabs the most is maybe Smells Like Nirvana, but even that, it's never vicious about it. It's just a little bit tongue-in-cheek, if anything. Right? None of his songs are like ever mean. They're just silly and funny, and that's why people enjoy it so much. That and CNR, yeah. The one song I did like of his that kind of, you know, parodied his usual directions for songs was Foil. It was like a parody of Lord's Royals. Starts off like a food parody, like many of his songs tend to be, but then halfway through just switches to being this completely off-the-wall conspiracy theory style of song. And it's just like a jarring switch. You don't see it coming, and it's really funny for it. New music video for that one is fun as well. Right, it's like starts off like this regular cooking show, and then like you see like the background and objects, everything changed as Weird Al just like falls down the rabbit hole. That one was great. Yeah, I never seem to finish. Wait, I never seem to finish all my food. Yeah. Oh my god, I hear Royals in karaoke streams all the time, and yeah, those lyrics always get referenced in chat. Ow. I know whatever Weird Al's doing now, he's probably deserves it. If he's either just living it up, doing concert tours, or writing his next song. Hope he's doing well. He certainly deserves it. Yeah, the three backup singers with the foil hats on. It's probably like why the song goes together so well, right? Foil is like pretty good for food storage, and then tinfoil hats are kind of like the conspiracy theorist staple. So that's how you manage to get like that sort of thematic connection, and it works real nicely because of that. It is funny because it also changes the context of the title. Right, it's from food to conspiracy theorist. Oh, I mean, who can forget his like 10-minute long epic trapped in the drive-thru? The harrowing tale of a a guy who just wants to order some goddamn fast food and seems to hit every hang up along the way. Yeah, oh, by the way, I cracked the code. That was like the turning point. That's like where in the music video you see the scene change from cooking show to, you know, crazy, room full crazy. It's like those local programs you would see. I only remember like one local program. It's like way back in the day, and I didn't even watch it myself. Always liked his polka medleys. Oh yeah! He always had one. Always had one in every album. Just like, and here's the rest of the songs that kind of became a hit in the period between albums. It was fun how he managed to segue between each of them as well. But yeah, Weird Al's songs kind of hit all the moods, right? You get the silly songs, and then you get the ones that might hit like a bit more home than you would have hoped, like maybe TMZ or the Skipper Dan song. I remember that one especially. People were just like, "Oh my god, I can relate to this." Yeah, still crank up another one. Rides the bus. Yeah, I remember the accordion going off in that one. And he had like 2 songs about watching TV as well. One of them was like the MC Hammer parody, I Can't Watch This, and the other one was I forget what the Weird Al title was, but it was like a parody of Eminem's Lose Yourself. It was about watching TV. Man, I really gotta do 5 laps of this. It's like 12.5 minutes of race time. Can imagine I did like another 5 minutes on top of this for practice. It's like 20 minutes I spent in this locale. Those headlights are next to useless. Does kind of feel like that. With how fast this car is going, it's like you can't really anticipate the curves. You gotta keep an eye on the mini-map if you want to navigate them properly. But yeah, the only local program I remember watching, and I only did it once, and I really didn't do it on my own. It was because my parents saw it. It was like a homework help program, and you could like call a number and have a guy help you with your homework. And I didn't even need help with my homework. They just said, here's this problem. If you get in, tell them you need help with this problem. I think they wanted me to call in because everyone who called in got like some sort of gift, and I guess they wanted the gift. They didn't even need me to get assistance with homework. They just wanted the stuff they were giving out for people who were calling in for help with their homework. That's a novel idea for a TV show. Yeah. feels like the kind of thing you could only see as a local program, and probably only because of you know, the state of technology back in the day as well. Obviously, these days, if you need help with your homework, there's probably plenty of online resources you could check out, but, you know, back then, maybe you didn't have ready access to the internet. The best you could do were, like, maybe a set of encyclopedias, you know, library, if there was time, your textbook, and maybe your parents, if they had any knowledge in the subjects that you needed help with. Or I guess if, it wouldn't be a TV show, would it? It would be like a homework help stream. Just imagine, like, some streamer just setting that up. Alright, just put your homework help questions in this form here, or like in chat or something like that, and I'll try to answer it to the best of my ability. That would probably be like the evolution of that kind of program. Could see something like that happening. I know, right? Probably help. Probably be nice for those who are, like, knowledgeable in a variety of subjects. Just have someone who can perhaps help you with certain aspects, or at least, you know, the stuff that they're good at. Oh man, that was a long race and we're only halfway through. We are getting a good amount of credits from these races, so at least we'll be sitting on a good stack of them for whatever next it is. Yeah, and to help you sleep, ASMR sleep aid videos. It's like whatever you can think of, there's probably a stream for that. Right, you probably got like people out there who are dedicated to one game, or dedicated to a specific genre game, or a different type of game. Or maybe like a category of style of playing a game. Or maybe some other thematic connection.
Club reverse layout. Use the hotel as your visual cue to stay far left and not to let off the power, because it's a great place to overtake cars out of position.
Alright, we're in the back half of this series now. It's all downhill from here. Hopefully it's not a very long downhill path. Oh yeah, this one's gonna go by quickly. See, lap time is minute 23. Hopefully they won't make me do like 8 laps on this track or something like that. Saw some interesting ones where they were making fursuits on stream. Ooh, that's gotta be fun. Just kind of seeing the process of it all coming together. Seeing how the end result comes to be. That's like pretty neat. Get to see like what goes into the thought process of the person as they bring their creation to life. Probably says the same appeal as like things like how it's made. You see the steps and everything. You see the process. You see how it all comes together. And that can be cool. Right? Even if it doesn't do anything for you, like, practically. It's just a cool thing to know, so that, yeah, you can see how much labor and love goes into things like those. Yeah, craft and art streams are pretty good. I do like to catch a drawing stream every now and then. It's just like pretty fun seeing them just draw on the screen, and eventually you'll see something come out of it, a scene, a character, whatever. Relaxing to watch folks make stuff, yeah. That's why I like things like you know, the house building shows and Bob Ross and things like that are well received. It's just relaxing. Bob has that nice, gentle voice and that sound when he beats his brush on the easel. Yeah. You combine that, you combine all that with the painting coming together, and it's just satisfying. Kinda nuts how beloved that show has gotten, even with its, like, you know, minimalist presentation. It's like black background, Bob Ross wearing his blue jean shirt and pants, and just the easel and you know, the painting. That's all you really need, because you know what you're in for. He makes it look so easy. That was always the thing that amazed me, right? These kinds of things like art that I'd have the greatest challenge of actually putting together, and they just kind of put it out there like it was nothing. Like, man, how do they like just get a whole person, right? How do they draw a whole person in the span of like a few hours? It's crazy. And the answer is obvious, of course. They honed their craft. They practiced a lot. They didn't, you know, they took a long time doing what they loved, and eventually that's how they got to where they are now. Oh man, just like that, practice is done. Getting into the meat and potatoes of this race. Ooh, they're predicting a sweep. They're predicting I will rock this lineup easily. I'm years out of practice at drawing. I did it a lot in school. I never did draw seriously. At most I can do like super abstract sketches, but you're definitely not going to get anything like professional. You're not going to get any professional grade pieces out of me. It's just going to be like mostly dumb doodles, if anything. It was actually pretty funny. I remember like being on someone else's stream and they were playing TKO, and I happened to like get into their game, and you know, that particular Jackbox game is one where you have to draw a bunch of pictures and then hope that like someone else selects your pictures for the shirts. And I was actually kind of shocked because every single drawing I did was selected for a shirt. I did like four drawings through that game, and each and every one of them showed up on a shirt. I'm like pretty shocked. I was not expecting that. I used to design guitars, draw them out, and what electronics they'd have, etc. Ooh, that sounds like fun. Oh yeah, I've seen that one. Yeah, right. Pretty fun game. I know it had like TKO 2 in the latest Jackbox Party Pack. People seem to enjoy that one. I think for me, I didn't necessarily like do any you know, art in terms of like the kind of art you think of, like, you know, portraits or scenes or what have you. I more drew like level layouts. Right, I'd have like this kind of game just like imagined in my head, and I just draw levels for it. And of course, since I was a kid, I didn't take into account things like, you know, balance or flow or density. I just drew a giant map and plopped symbols all over the place, and like, yeah, this is a level. As people might say, ideas are a dime a dozen. It's about, you know, implementing those ideas and the practicality of it that things start getting real hairy. I bet it'd be fun to look back on your sketches. I bet it would be. I wonder where they are. Might be saved somewhere. Just try to imagine what kind of thought process I was going through when I put everything together. Actually, one of the big things I remember is one of my friends in middle school actually made like a paper version of Tetramaster. It's like the card game from the Final Fantasy series there, where you had like the numbers pointing in certain directions and you had to kind of play like a domination style game with them. He actually made like a paper version of it. Of course, it wasn't like, you know, full Tetramaster inspiration. He did add in his own stuff, like he had like action cards that could change the state of the board as well, but he actually like drew a bunch of cards for it and even made like packs and stuff, and it held our interest for a little bit. I think like a couple weeks, because, you know, that kind of thing like takes effort, and you know, eventually people start losing cards, and it's like, well, the next big thing comes along, and you're like, all right, what's next? I still got a big lever arch folder full of drawings of characters I came up with. Ooh, that would be fun to go back to. Just look at your old character designs and think, is this a kind of character I would still sign off on? Maybe use it as like inspiration for a future thing. Yeah, do one of those redrawing old art style things. That would be fun. I think I've seen that here and there, where someone would take an old art piece and then redraw it and go, yeah, this is how I would draw it these days. Touch it up. It's kind of neat. It's kind of neat. Oh, that was quite the rewind. Oh, and I, of course, did not take advantage of it. Alright, hopefully this will go better. Oh yeah, already remarkably better. Also, is it just me or did this like transition to nighttime? It's like practice was during the day and now we're racing at night. It's the night races, baby. Man, it's always interesting to go to events at night. I see the bright lights around you, loud noises. Of course, it's night, so everyone's probably a little bit more tired, or maybe a little bit more wound up, depending on where you are. One series that was fun on YouTube was this guy. He'd get parents to send in art their kids had done, and he'd recreate it in a professional style. Oh! That's gotta be fun. I can only imagine what the kids must have thought when they came back with this, like, much more cooler looking version of the thing they drew. Especially if it lives up to their expectations. Like, oh man, this is definitely what I thought of with my drawing there. Oh, did I go too fast? I think I might have. Yeah, I went too fast. That's okay. Yeah, seeing your character jump off the page. It's definitely nice when you got like an idea what you want, but maybe if you don't have quite the skills for it, you just like turn to someone else who might be better at the art thing, and they can help you bring your character to life. As long as you get them the appropriate references and everything, is all good. Ooh, yeah. Another race done, and I managed to get a clean lap in that time.
Good work today. We finished P1.
Thank God for commissions. I'd have no chance at making Shadow look halfway good. That's for sure. Yeah, they were quite a boon for when you wanted to cosplay, but maybe didn't quite have the craft skills for it. Alright. 3 practice laps, 4 laps in the full race. Okay. Of course, that's probably because this is a longer track. When in doubt, farming out to a pro, right? It's the whole paying for goods and services thing, right? You give them money, and then they will help you bring your ideas to life. Of course, commissioning a cosplay costume is probably like a little bit easier than you know, getting like a drawing of your OC or something, because, well, the character design's there, right? So all you got to do is just let them know some other details, right? Like maybe your body sizes and measurements and everything like that. And like if you want any modifications or how you might want like certain aspects of the costume, and usually good to go. Oh yeah. Target lap time here is what, 2 minutes 40 seconds? Buckle up, we're gonna be sitting here for a while. Of course, with this rain, you gotta be a little bit more careful. Can't go ham on driving fast and steering because you'll be punished for it way more than you might be normally. It'll be fun to cosplay as Gene Starwind from Outlaw Star. A lot of characters would be like that. Right, you see like their designs on the screen. They're like, oh man, that would be a fun thing to wear as a costume, just to wear as like a real life outfit. One of the fun aspects of cons, you get to wear those kinds of outfits that you might not do otherwise. Oh yeah, and then you get like the ones that are something you can put together from your closet. Yeah, easy outfit, vest, pants, and mustard trench coat. Yeah, you get like the character who dresses like in really simple casual wear. That's pretty easy to kind of hunt down the stores online to find the particular pieces of clothes you need, and like boom, quick and easy outfit. I actually did that once. Right, there's like a particular character who had a straightforward enough outfit. Oh, high school math teacher, thank you for the follow, and appropriate too. After we talked about like a homework help program. Oh, but yeah, there is the wig aspect, the hair aspect, a truckload of hair gel for that crazy anime hair. Yeah, that's the one where you might have to invest a little bit, even if you do like a closet cosplay. Although if you do luck out and just like get someone with a more straightforward hairstyle, then maybe it's not so bad. Or, you know, you don't even have to do that. Right? If you're doing like a casual cosplay, I don't think most people won't pay much mind if you fudge a detail here and there. Because, hey, it's all about having fun, right? Just, like, being the character as you wish to be, right? As close as you wish to be. Oh, it was always the nice part where, yeah, I get those spikes up for Yugi's hair. That multicolored thing, like, how's that even work? Who knows? But, you know, it's always gonna be a special, craft for that. You can't just grab a wig off the shelf for that. Or Vegeta. Yeah. Or, you know, like a Super Saiyan. Just imagine getting that long blonde wig styled in the spiky way that the Super Saiyan hair is. Yeah. Fun times. Was watching that the other night. Dragon Ball Super was nice seeing the old crew again. Probably pretty exciting time too. I remember when that was first announced. That came like hot off the heels after was it Dragon Ball Kai, if I remember correctly? That was like when they condensed Dragon Ball into, you know, not have it meander for as long as it did. Because that like became a meme after a bit. Like I remember when the old joke going around was, how many Dragon Ball Z characters does it take to screw in a light bulb? 1, but it takes 8 episodes. And of course, you know, Namek blowing up, which took like 1 billion years. I can't believe they brought Frieza back. Yeah, and then Super was kind of like the continuation of that, right? Just directly continued from where Z left off. Kind of, you know, abandoned GT, which I think people were happy for. But yeah, it's like its own original continuation of Z. Written by Akira Toriyama, if I remember correctly. Who'd have thought Bulma and Vegeta would end up married, right? Isn't that like a popular thing in anime, just like haters to lovers? Or is it enemies to lovers? I know it's not just an anime thing, but it seems to show up a lot there. You'll even see people ship that too. It's like, oh yeah, this bad guy and this good guy would totally hook up. It's probably fun. Probably fun for a set of people. Fan service for the shippers, yeah. Especially in those long-running series where they keep throwing out all those romantic hints, but still takes them even longer to kind of follow up on it. Man, I can hear the skidding. Just hear it skidding on the water. This is a kind of skidding I would never hear in real life, because I would never drive a car so fast that it would skid in the water. Because why would I do that? That's dangerous. Hydroplaning, man. Just the idea of it is frightening enough that I want to try to avoid that as much as possible. Oh, hey, practice is finished. Alright. Off to race day. Or, I guess, race hour. Not sure what time this takes place. I forget if they tell us or not. Those big puddles that drag you in, oh my god. When you just hear like the thunk of the car and it like just tilts and you see a big splash coming out from one side, you're like, oh step. Yeah, harrowing times. Ah, 10 a.m. Man, raining in the morning. That's gotta be a demotivator right there. You just imagine that, you wake up and you're like, oh yeah, time to get this day started. You just look out and it's like, oh, rain. Oh, guess I'm staying in. It's either that, or I guess I'm bringing an umbrella and I'm going to be utterly soaked throughout the day. Is this England with rain early morning? Well, it is in Italy, so... I don't think Italy is known for its rain, though. At the very least, they don't make a meme out of it. God. You know what I just did? I actually clicked my joysticks because I guess I had a bit too much Horizon on the brain. I was expecting a horn, but this is Motorsport. They probably don't have horns because that's rude and also useless. Alright, you know what? We'll try that again. I do have 4 laps with it to catch everyone. Or I shouldn't be too hasty. You know what? That actually reminds me of a thing I went to like way back in high school. It was like some sort of extracurricular program dance, and they had a DJ there, and this DJ was like singing a particular song, but I guess since it was all kids, it was like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and like, you know, mute a certain portion because you know, had curse words, and oh no, curse words. Silly to look back upon, but still. So, particular song, he did mute out the curse words as he promised, but you know, the kids couldn't help but sing it anyway. And you're like, you hear the muted part, and then everyone just goes, "She fucking hates me." Eventually, DJ's like, all right, I guess I'm just gonna switch songs now," and he did switch songs. I'm like, well. I guess it just kind of taught me that, yeah, some people, you know, they just don't care, which is fine. Looking back, that was fine. It was silly to begin with. Yeah, a classic tune. Wait. Oh my god. Sorry. For some reason, my system went on the fritz for a little bit there. I think I need to look into that. It seems like anytime I bump my microphone cable, things go a little nutty on my PC, so I wonder if I need to like swap it out. I don't even know why that happens. I really hope it is the microphone cable that is like causing problems. 'Cause it would be nice to have none of this happen anymore if I swap it out. This is also why I like doing things in game capture. I think I remember someone actually bringing that up. It's like, what? I learned that some people actually do window capture instead, or screen capture. And I'm like, oh boy, do these guys like living life on the edge? Which I can totally see. It's like, could you imagine what would happen if the game suddenly crashed? You just like get kicked back to the desktop. It's like, oh no, you better hope you don't have anything too scandalous on there, because you know that's you can't quite undo that. So would explain why they started doing radio mix and radio edits for swears. Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, Avril Lavigne's Happy Ending. I remember that one distinctly. They only swapped out the one word, but, you know, when you heard the word, you knew it. Or, there's plenty of other songs where you can think they did that, too. Or I guess the other one that probably stands out. What is it? The one that goes like to the windows, to the walls. Yeah, definitely a couple of words you want to swap out in that one, and you know, even with the word swaps, it's still a very raunchy tune. I remember the early 2000s. They reversed the audio on the swears. That was fun. You'd just hear like something like all the rip that you do, or something like that. You heard it like most often in rap, which I guess tracks. Kid Rock songs had a lot of that. I mean, I guess at least to radio's credit, they would at least try to like get a version of the song that still made sense, right? They wouldn't just like mute out certain parts of the song and just make it sound like it has like holes in it. Ooh, actually reminds me, there's that one Maroon 5 song, was it Payphone? I remember that one. I remember the radio edit. It was like, was it, all these fairy tales are full of shit, and then the radio edit one is just, all these fairy tales are full of it. Things like that, where they managed to kind of like seamlessly swap in a word. Keeps the same context, maybe the same impact, but just makes it more radio friendly. I like those. Horizon Radio. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. I remember hearing Teardrops in Horizon 5 and then thinking, why did they even bother to put that song in Horizon 5? They were to cut out like 90% of it. Right, and like, you know, what's left in there does not convey the meaning of the song all that well. At all. Those songs have more holes than Swiss cheese, I know, right? Yeah, I just remember listening to Teardrops, the non-Horizon Radio version. I'm thinking, oh wow, they have like all the lyrics. It's actually a lot of song in there. Yeah, thing is, the most random words are blank. Well, yeah, I guess you listen to like out of context and you might see why, but I remember when they brought back that one Blink-182 song, was it Bored to Death? They brought that back. They brought that back for the Horizon mixtape, but they went out and removed words like dive bar. Right? It's like, is it gonna be that much of trouble if kids hear the word dive bar? Yeah, like why is bed and faded blanked? I don't get it. Death is blanked on Chad Temper's song. Yeah, they don't even replace it with anything. It's just a hole, right? The lyrics just cut out. You don't even get any replacements for it. But yeah, that's why I can like appreciate regular radio edits, because they at least try to maintain the song, right, in both like rhythmic pacing and word choice for impact and meaning and all that. When life gives you lemons, I squeeze them to... Yeah, it just cuts out like that, right? Right, now it goes like, we can hang out at the... You're just thinking, hang out at the... What? I think Rock Band like did that too.
Good run out
Like, obviously, curse words they cut out of songs. That was like the one part where I was bummed they maybe didn't do the radio edits when they could. So at the very least, it would be filled with something, and not just a blank space where there would be lyrics. Ah, we're back to Le Mans. So long that... I like how practice lap is only 1, but we're still doing 3 laps on this track. Oh, wait, no, I want to continue. At least they didn't mess with one of my favorite songs. Oh, that's good to hear. It's always nice when a song manages to kind of escape that kind of scrutiny that other songs are messed with in a way that is not fun. Alright, this is it. Once we finish this, we'll have a showcase. We'll get ourselves a free car. But it's gonna be a long race. Seriously, 1 practice lap, and yet they're still having us go 3 for a regular race. In what world does that make sense?
Straight for over 3 miles, so find a car to draft behind. Using the slipstream will help you make a pass at your maximum speed.
Oh man. That only applies if you're not in first, of course. It's one of the few songs that gets me all pumped up and ready to race. There are definitely some songs out there that, since I've listened to them in a racing game, I can't help but keep on thinking about them in the context of a racing game. The one that particularly comes to mind is Rise Against Paper Wings, all the way back in the days of Burnout 3. I think it's like largely because of its tempo. It has a fast pace to it that just fits the speed of the races that you go on in Burnout 3. Every time I hear that song, can't help but think about how fast I want to be going. Yeah, anytime there's like a segment where someone's driving really, really fast, I just start going, and I can't tell if you're laughing. Between each smile, there's a tear in your eye. Oh yeah, I see target time here is almost 5 minutes. I can see why they would make us do 1 practice lap, but even then, making us do like 3 regular laps is kinda nuts. Oh yeah, I'm getting Midwest flashbacks here. Nothing but straight road all the way down. See the occasional buildings that pass by and just thinking, oh man, what must it be like to either live there or visit there often, occupy it often, maintain it often, you know, things like that. Fortress Europe from Underground 1 was a good racing song. Ooh. I think the one particular song I got into from that game was, I think it was called like Born Too Slow. I think I liked that one because the title of it fit the context of a racing game rather well, and it was another song with a pretty fast tempo, so it fit for like the races itself too, which was pretty cool. LAX by Zibbit was a good jam for blasting down that motorway. I bet it was. Can't imagine my projections being good for this race. I suspect they'll probably expect me to be in the middle of the pack if I want to finish first. So we got like another minute or so of racing here. No, I spoke too soon. Did you ever play the OG Burnout? Sad to say, I have not. I started Burnout with 2, actually. That was like a pretty fun one. Yeah, but I still have very fond memories of 3. I think that's like where everything kind of came together just right. But you know, 2 was still a great game. Still fun. You could see the elements that where you know, the elements that would make it a fantastic racing game. Definitely had to focus on the thrills and the speed, and the boost mechanic was a pretty good risk-reward system as well. 2 is peak for me, point of impact. Yeah, I can absolutely see that. That will definitely lean more towards the racing side of things, and yeah, it's definitely, I can see why people would definitely enjoy that. Because, yeah, from 3 onwards is all about the car combat. Or actually, at the very least, there was more of a focus on car combat. Yeah, and the crash mode. I forgot about the crash mode, yeah. There's a thing you didn't see in racing games. Like, almost every other racing game, crashing was like the last thing you wanted to do, and here Burnout comes out with the whole modes. It's like, yes, we want you to crash and make the biggest traffic pileup possible. Yes, that was... I remember seeing reviews for that and people mentioning, yeah, this is like a pretty cool thing to have, crash mode, this crash mode. Oh. I'll try that again. Hitting a log trucks and buses, oh yeah. Always the popular targets because they were big and they also were worth a lot of money. Yeah, when it came together, it was glorious. When you see the cars continuously pile upon one another. And you know at the end, when that tally goes up, it's gonna be huge. It's gonna be so big, y'all. Once you get that high score. It's gonna be great. On a slightly related note, yeah, was like an early version of BeamNG. Yeah, especially with the way the cars deformed and everything. Yeah. I do remember the damage modeling in a Paradise and kind of being wowed by it. But yeah, on a slightly related note, I saw Epic Games Store is having a sale going on right now. And one of the big things they have is like a 33% off coupon that's like perpetually renewing. So I was thinking maybe I will actually like get some games that are only on that platform. The ones I had in mind were the Kingdom Hearts games, because that's only on EGS. Yeah, it's not on Steam for some reason, even to this day. And also Dangerous Driving, which was made by Three Fields Entertainment. They also did like Danger Zone and Dangerous Golf. Yeah, Dangerous Driving. If you want to get it on PC, you can only get that on EGS. And unfortunately, it's like never gone on discount. I keep on seeing it for $30. It's never gone on sale. So I figured if I just use the 33% off coupon, it'll be 20, which still might be a little much, but it is cheaper. Yeah, make good use of the discount, right? Just giving you like a flat 33% off everything, and that's on top of all the discounts they have. So, you know, Kingdom Hearts becomes like super ultra cheap. Dangerous Driving will become a bit more affordable. Those might be like the two things I pick up from EGS. It'll be my second and third purchases on that platform. Literally every other game I got on Epic's Game Store was because they gave it away. Yeah, I got a giant library on Epic Game Store. It's because they got like so many of those giveaways that I just went and got. And it's not like just, you know, little games either. They brought out some big ones. Like I think the current one they have right now is DNF Duel. It's like that dungeon fighting game. You know, pretty high priced product, and kind of astounding that they were able to make that a giveaway at all. Of course, I picked that up. I should probably encourage my friends to pick it up. Maybe we could do that. Play that for like a game night. I'm sure they'd have some fun with that once. But yeah, I'll probably only do like 3 Epic's Game Store purchase if I get Kingdom Hearts and Dangerous Driving. The only other one I got was Griftlands, and I don't remember why I got that on Epic Game Store first, but I got it there. If I remember correctly, I was almost tempted to like pick up Hades as well, because that came out in early access on EGS first, but I waited for a Steam release, and I got it on Steam. It was pretty fun on Steam. Yeah, it was kind of neat just seeing everyone kind of mark out on Supergiant's like then newest game at the time. Personally hoping Hades 2 manages to knock it out of the park as well. We'll see. As for Three Fields Entertainment's next game, I remember when they were talking about Dangerous Driving 2. It was like, oh yeah, this is going to be the next one. And then they went radio silent for like a longest time. And then last year they announced Recreation, which was what Dangerous Driving 2 became. And then I don't think we've heard from them since then. They had demos out, which is like the craziest thing. I'm still hoping Recreation eventually comes out, because the pitch they had for it was pretty promising. I'm hoping that it'll come out at least decent, because the idea of making a whole super fast driving friendly world is pretty cool, and I would like to partake in that world. Seems like it would be a good world. OMG, I didn't know BioInk Redemption was on the Epic Store. Yeah, Epic Store's got like a couple interesting titles. There's one I saw recently that was called Witchfire. It was like a first-person Souls-like shooter with spells in the style of Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. It seemed kind of neat for what it was, but it was pretty hefty buy-in price. I might wait and see how that pans out, but it did look pretty promising from what I saw, so we'll see how that one develops. Oh man. Yeah, I know I'm off track. That being said, I'm also far ahead of everyone else. I think I can afford a couple seconds of spinning my wheels. Man, this Lambo is level 26. Then again, I did put it through like 6 races, so... Some of them were long races, and they also had like lots of practice segments, so plenty of opportunity to level things up. But yeah, I should probably get my Epic Game Store purchases squared away, because the Steam sale is supposed to start tomorrow. And, well, you know that's gonna be a big deal. Although I gotta set myself a budget, because I already spent a lot of money buying presents for everyone, and also buying like a couple of assets for streaming as well. I can't afford that much for games this time around. But that's fine. There will be a spring sale, and maybe I can get some stuff then. Although I probably don't want to get too much, because the summer sale will come right after, and you know they'll have a big metagame for that. Or, at the very least, some semblance of a metagame. At the very least, they'll have trading cards. That Kaze and the Wild Masks looks fun. It's always fun when you manage to kind of dig into the depths of the store, and you find like that one game that speaks out to you. It's like, ooh, hey, that actually looks pretty neat. There you go. Throw it on your wish list, or you bookmark it for later. Any game that has an Anthro character on the front will get my attention. Well, that's usually a good way of kind of finding things you're into. It's a good way to grab you. I guess that's why a lot of covers will usually have a person on them, or a character on them in one way or another. Maybe even a face. It could be like a real close-up of a person. Oh. Should have started braking earlier. Well, okay, maybe I didn't need to, thankfully. Yeah, I know I'm off track. Level 27. It's like the second time my car has leveled up this race. I guess on average my car has leveled up at least like 5 times in each locale. I liked what they did with Mortal Kombat 11 in the cover, with Scorpion and Sub-Zero face-to-face like a versus screen. It's always fun when you manage to do that. What? It's a weird rewind. It's like somehow they couldn't process the reverse motion, so they just teleported me back to the last rewind spot. Oh, I guess it's nice they have that in place where it's like, okay, if we can't show the physical act of the rewind, we'll just pull you back. We'll still pull you back. But yeah, I do appreciate when covers manage to kind of do something more than just person on the front. Something maybe more artistic or symbolic. That's always fun. Can't think of anything that would come to mind in that regard. Oh, I guess there was like the original Dark Souls cover. Sure, that was like person on screen, but they also had like, you know, just a fire there. Gave you the impression that this was going to be a very atmospheric journey, if nothing else. Oh, I guess Sonic Advance covers were always fun, because Sonic would always hold up the number of figures that was like, you know, the same number as the game. So Sonic Advance 1, he had like 1 finger. Sonic Advance 2, he held up 2 fingers. Sonic Advance 3, he held up 3 fingers. And of course the jokes were there. It was like, what if the series went up to Sonic Advance 6? What would they do then? Would they have him hold up 2 hands with 6 fingers, or would they have 1 hand have 6 fingers? It was a joke. It was a joke, of course. They didn't mean that seriously. The Butt Kicker. It's a fun name. Wow, did we already go like all the way back up to 150,000 credits? The series kind of paid for itself. Nice. The ensemble cover for fighting games. Oh yeah. At least, you know, a representative group of it. Alright, time for the Legacy Reward Showcase. This will be our end here. 2 laps. Alright, good. Just 2 laps, not 3. And we're going to be driving the Porsche 911 GT2. We'll conclude with a little victory race. I'm trying to think if there were like any other game covers that were like highly symbolic. Why aren't there any coming to mind at the moment? I know I've seen them, but all the ones I can think of at the moment are just like, you know, character front and center. There's like a ton of ways you could go about those, right? It doesn't always have to be character just looking into your soul. Depending on the work, it might also be fitting for them to be looking out into the scenery in the background. Or you could have them doing like a cool action pose, like they're about to hit you. Or... yeah, the car with flames coming off for racing games. Oh my god. Anytime you see something like that, it's like, you know, the car just looking like it's about to drive off the cover. Or in the case of Burnout, the car is about to explode off the cover. Or if it's like a car combat game, you'll see like the car armed to the teeth, running away from a bunch of explosions and maybe like an enemy car in the background. Or no, the other favorite type of cover of mine. You see like the party in the foreground, and you just see like a giant face of the chief foe in the background. Right, just their giant mug just overlooking everyone else. There's always a certain amount of menace that just exudes from those kinds of shots. It's like the scrappy little party trying to take on the big bad fella who's gonna kick your butt 6 ways to Sunday. At least you'd think it would. Big Rigs was just a blatant lie of what the game is. Yeah. You thought it would be like a truck racing game, but instead was just a Midtown Madness Alpha. The thing I remember most about Big Rigs was actually the GameSpot review of it, because they did a video review of it long ago. It was like basically the guy just like putting the car in reverse, and the car just kept on speeding up in reverse so fast that you could like go really fast, and your car would just move at light speed in reverse. And then you let off the reverse key, and the car would just instantly stop on a dime. Wasn't even like a sense of momentum. It just stopped. And that was like way too much for the guy, and all he did was just walk outside and then lay down on the sidewalk. It was just like shook his head. No. that was like what broke him, right? The game was so bad he just had to get some air, just lie down. It's like, nah, I'm done. The AVGN vid on it was a good watch. No hitboxes, just your winner. Yeah, the opponents didn't even race. They were just there. They just existed. Okay, we'll start at position 14. And yeah, there wasn't even like a sense of physics, right? In addition to the whole being able to stop on a dime, even if you were reversing at light speed, you could climb up inclines with no issue, which, you know, shouldn't be the case with the truck. Alright, so this is just 2 laps, thankfully. After the marathons of the supercar races, this is welcome change. Of course, that means I have less time to catch up to the front, which is, I guess, why their projection was a little bit less generous. Looks like a very early alpha or something. It does. Definitely feels like the kind of game that would still be in development. It's like they forgot to add a bunch of things like physics and momentum and AI and you know, proper windscreen probably. Yeah, or a university project that a rookie programmer has put together. Yeah. Definitely does not feel like something that should be a real retail product at the very least. It is funny how infamous that game has become. I do remember when that actually got featured on, what was it, Awesome Games Done Quick? It wasn't a speedrun in itself. They just had like a special segment on it, and they actually brought back the guy from GameSpot who reviewed it long ago, just to show it off again, so that the new folk could see how notoriously bad it was. That was a fun time. Oops. I probably deserved that. Alright, we'll try that again. once more with clarity. Oh, I should have slowed down there, though. Alright. Third time's the charm, they say. Alright. Well, I still got about 1 1/3 of the race to go. Plenty of time to get these last 3 positions here. Oh. Oh, God.
Penalty is about 2.5 seconds.
Yeah, definitely walking that one back. Oops. Oh. Sadly, I have to head off to bed now. It's 5:35 a.m. Oh, man. Yeah, go get some sleep. Enjoy the rest, and thanks for hanging out with me. I feel like I might be approaching the end here as well. As soon as I wrap up this showcase, I will probably wrap up this stream. Have a good one. Yeah, you too. Thankfully, if like the C-Class series is any indication, I could probably knock out the other 3 in one go. And we can do the reward showcase. And then that will be the Builders' Cup. Part of me hopes they'll at least have some sort of acknowledgement, even if it is just like a special screen. Like, I remember Forza Motorsport 7 did, like, you know, put in a bit more of a show for completing, like, a particular series. And then when you got, like, that final trophy, you had your character do a big celebration while the voiceover fella kind of talked big about how you were top of the world and stuff like that. I remember that. Alright, just a little bit more. I just realized I'm still in second place. I should probably try to get ahead of this fella. Or do I really need to? Yeah, I do. This is like the one race, so I should probably try to get ahead of them. Like right here. Oh my god, look at this last minute upset. Holy cow. Person in the red Porsche has just pulled ahead all of a sudden. Oh god, 2 seconds.
Penalty is about 2.5 seconds.
Doesn't matter where you cut there, they ding you for 2 seconds. Alright, well, I get it. You know, the penalty there to apply the time you would have saved by doing that illegal track cut. Wonder if I should do a drift finish. Lap 2 to right. Was that too early? That might have been too early. We'll try that again. Try to be all fancy and, you know, not professional about it, and I ended up celebrating too early. Okay, now should be good, right? Yeah. Wow, that looked real dumb. I liked how my car just, like, turned on a dime to start driving straight again. It was like, alright, we don't have time for your shenanigans, let's do the scenic finish. Just go and take our 8,000 credits for that. And continue. Ooh, baby, look at that. Legacy Tour is in the books. All we have left is the Open Class Tour. 3 series. B Class, A Class, S Class. I'm pretty sure I have a car for each category, so I won't have to do any buy-ins for them. So there won't be any awkward moments where I gotta switch series before we can go to the old one. Yeah, man. Spent a lot of time doing the Forza, and kind of hard to believe we're nearing the end of the journey here. It's gonna be a little bittersweet because, you know, for all the flaws this game has, I still enjoy it. It's a pretty good, one of the few professional racing games that I've super got into. Well, I kind of got into Grid as well, so, but still a handful, right? I haven't gotten to every single one I played. It's not like I played a whole lot. Probably would have a good time if I played more sim racing games, but I don't know. I should probably wrap up this Prestige Tour as well. I actually did purchase the cars for these last few series here, so it's just a matter of getting to them. And, you know, they take as long as like a regular series from here, so it's just a matter of like, it's just sitting down, doing the races, getting them done, and I can get the car from them. They also have this next series up, so thankfully this one has more time to get through it. But yeah, each series has like, each tour has like a runtime of about 6 weeks. They'll have the 4 weeks where they introduce each series one by one, and then 2 extra weeks for you to kind of wrap things up before they take them out. Yeah. In any case, as usual, we've gone through 2 series, made some more progress, and we're almost there. The Builders' Cup is almost ours. So close. So close we could grab it. We just need to drive fast enough to be able to seize it, seize the moment, seize the handles. But that will be for next week. Yeah, thanks to everyone who came by and checked me out, stayed and chatted, followed, or, you know, just watched. I appreciate each and every one of you. No more streams this week because I am doing stuff this weekend. I have lots of holiday commitments to do, so I'm gonna be busy. Next stream will probably be next Wednesday, where we'll wrap up Forza Motorsport. That'll be a fun thing to come back to. Right, we'll leave off on Motorsport this week, and then we'll come back to Motorsport next week. And yeah, enjoy your week. Right, no matter how you spend it, if you're going to visit some folks, or if you're just gonna vibe by yourself, or you're just gonna go about your day. Right, if you don't care about the holidays, that's fine too. You do you. Alright, let's look for someone to raid. Let's find someone to raid. This stream was like a little shorter than the rest, but again, we did the C-Class series, which was pretty short to begin with, so... Normally these Forza Motorsport streams run like 4 hours. This one is about 3.5, and that's not taking into account that some of the time was spent on the load screen. Alright, let's see who's online. Who can I raid into? See, Monster Hunter World. Someone's playing that. I know some people still prefer World over Rise. Rise did do like a number of changes. Well, I thought like people were like fans of it. I guess maybe other people weren't. I was like perfectly fine with both of them. I kind of took well to the systems changes each of them had. But that's just me. I know other people might not have liked them as much, and that's fine. Oh wow. See, a second person is playing Monster Hunter World. One at this point is probably rare enough, seeing two. Well, I guess people will probably be coming back to it because Monster Hunter Wilds was announced, so maybe they're just like got that Monster Hunter itch and is playing their Monster Hunter game of choice until the new one comes out. That would make sense. I'm sure World being super cheap too probably helps. I'm sure Rise is also fairly cheap. Yeah, apart from that, it's like the usual mix of Lethal Company, Overwatch 2, Fortnite, Genshin, Honkai Star Rail. Oh, you see one person playing Crisis Core. Yeah, you know what? I wonder if there's anyone streaming Forza Motorsport. Can't imagine. I imagine anyone who's still playing it at this point is probably like really into it, like I am. Yeah, they're more like racing wheel folk. About like the only VTuber right now who's actually playing Forza Motorsport on Twitch. Everyone else is like either a real life streamer or a camless streamer. And hey, both of those are fine. You do what suits you best, and I prefer being an anime character. I'm sure a lot of people do. It's times like these makes me wish there wasn't a 10 tags limit. Well, I guess if you can't accurately describe you and your stream in like 10 tags, maybe there's probably some superfluous ones you could boot. Maybe. Alright. Actually, maybe I'll see if I can find someone else, maybe. I think I'm trying to fight the decision paralysis. I'll find someone eventually, I swear. It's not a matter of luck, it's just a matter of time. Why am I making this so hard? Just pick a fella. Alright. Alright. You know what? I think I picked someone. Or have I? Have I picked someone? I think they're going offline. Maybe I haven't. Alright. I think I have decided on someone. Took me a while to get here, but let's see. Let's see if they have let's see if they have raids enabled. See if this goes through. Ah, looks like it did. Alright, Naughty Roomba is playing Half-Life. Yeah, you probably know about Half-Life, you know what that's like, right? Old classic FPS. So yeah, looks like the classic version too. It's not like Black Mesa or anything like that. No, this is Half-Life ass Half-Life, straight out of the box from, you know, the 90s. So I guess for a raid message. I don't know, I'm not feeling too creative tonight. There, if you're joining in on the raid, hit them with a supercar raid. Otherwise, have a great rest of the week, have a great weekend, have a great holiday if you celebrate it. I'll see you next week. Take care.